What's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. I know. I know it's been a while. You know, life keeps on life and no matter what. Uh, I'm home. I'm actually able to sit down, hopefully, and do some videos, keep you guys informed. And as you know, the WNBA season is obviously in full swings. We're a few weeks in, and in my opinion, there isn't a clear cut, oh, they're gonna win the championship, right? So like we know Vegas is Vegas, right? But at the moment they're playing without Chelsea Gray and they're winning, right? They've lost a couple games. So what, right? It's the W, right? It's not college basketball where losing a game, or even college football mainly, losing a game is detrimental, right? These ladies have 40 games. They have all-star breaks. They have the Olympic break. So there's a lot that's going to be going into this season. And so far, this season has been crazy. Rookies who come into the league, obviously, they have a lot more eyes on the game now with the rookie class who came into the league. And I'm not going to front. The rookies who have come in so far has they've all had a game, at least one game, where they dominated, right? Alyssa Pile just had her game a couple nights ago, right? She just had an amazing game, and she grinded out, and she pretty much did what us who watch these ladies play in college, not just starting to watch them in the WNBA, we saw them do. And we're so excited that they're getting to do it, and they're having fun, and they're enjoying themselves. And just like how it was in college, it's going, the negativity has definitely joined into the W. And you guys know how the W is. It's not like a negative space. Uh, they all like support each other. They're all friends. There's never any negativity or animosity amongst the players. And the media doesn't even talk about it because it's not a thing that we do. So I think this is a change of, it's a change that the W isn't liking, and we'll see if it changes. Some people think it's helping, but maybe to the outside world it might be helping, but within the organization it's not, because of the fact of who these women are to each other, right? So enough with all of that stuff. Let's get to some standings. And right now, Connecticut is the lone wolf, the only undefeated team, right? After currently going 8-0, which doesn't happen that often, right? 8-0 doesn't happen. We know that this is a tough league. And yes, Connecticut is 8-0. And some people who are just now starting to watch this league might think that Connecticut, they're the ones to beat. But going 8-0 don't mean nothing in the W, right? Um, Going 8-0 means you have a very good start. And those 8 wins isn't blow out the water wins. Like, they're winning these games by 2 points. Like, they're fighting the entire game. They're battling every single team that they play. So they're 8-0, but they could have easily been 7-1. They could have easily been. They easily could have been 6-2 or anything like that. They had some very very close games. They even went into overtime. So they are a team who's undefeated, but they're still a team that can be. They can be beaten. They just have to find that moment, and I think it'll be more Connecticut's reason when they lose that first game compared to it being the other teams, unless they're playing Vegas, which I think all the games Vegas are losing is because of Vegas themselves, not theoretically because of the team that they're playing. Um, Number two is New York, which we all saw New York up there. They're 7-2. They've played some good games. But I think what happened is the league started them off playing like Indiana and Chicago. I want to say New York's their first 8 games, or well, technically 9 games, huh? Um, their 9 games were, when you looked on paper, was rough. It was teams that wasn't that good last season, and now they're somehow on the Liberty's schedule. So I think that was, so they play Washington, Indiana back to back. Then they play Seattle, which a lot of people thought Seattle. We're gonna get about Seattle. Chicago, Minnesota, Phoenix, Washington. Right? So that was their games in May. And then you get to June, and their first game in June, which was yesterday, was against Indiana. So I feel like the league front loaded them with a lot of like your teams that had on the downslope last year, which Chicago, Indiana, Seattle, Washington, they were all like your bottom teams, and they just got when it came to Chicago. They lost to Chicago, so I think that was like a surprise for everyone, and I loved it. I loved it 100%. But you guys know I'm an LSU fan, so obviously I'm gonna be following Angel Reese all around. Easy day, I want to see how they thrive, right? Number 3 team is Minnesota, 6-2, and I think I said this last season. Cheryl Reeves is a great coach, right? So you give her competent players, and she's going to turn that into a team. And right now she has very competent players. She has very determined players, very athletic players. And with her draft pick and getting the Pele, it just adds that extra person, right? It adds that big who can go into the post, but also can step outside and drain the 3-pointers for you. So I think Minnesota will stay towards the top the entire season. I think when it comes down to it, Minnesota will be one of those top 5 teams, hands down. Number 4 is coming in at Vegas. They're 4-2. Obviously, Vegas hasn't played as many games as the other teams, just because of how everything goes. And Vegas didn't get a preseason because teams didn't want to play them, so they didn't get to really warm up like all the other teams, play some of their players. Um, so they played a lot less games than other teams right now. Um, and like I said in the beginning, Vegas is without Chelsea Gray, so I think that's where their little struggle is, but they're not really struggling, right? They're all scoring, they are producing, but the fact is they have that one less person coming off the bench. So if Chelsea Gray was there, Clark would be coming off the bench, giving that spark. But now, since Chelsea isn't there, Clark is starting, and now you also have Christian Bale, who also gives you a little spark. A lot of people don't like her game, but she still gives the team the spark that it needs to keep going. So she is out as well. So I think it's kind of, their groove is messed up a little bit, and they're still trying to find it. And I do believe that they will. Their rookie Kate Martin, she is what you want your kid to be when they're playing the game that they love. She's excited to play when she gets out there and plays, and she gives it her all. And she's playing great ball when she's out there, and she's having fun. I think she's one of the few rookies who was like legitimately having fun, right? So shouts out to her. Shouts out to Vegas for letting her play, really. Um, yeah. So on to the number 5 team. It is Seattle, who is sitting 5-3. Listen, y'all know I live up in Washington State, not too far from Seattle. So obviously I go to their games, and I went to their last home game, and it was a great game. It was an amazing game. And they found what they were missing, and what they were missing was that leadership presence in the locker room, that veteran in the locker room. And they went and got two. They went and got Ogwumike and got Skylar Diggins-Smith, right? Because you take away Sue Bird, and they're struggling, right? They're struggling a little bit. They have some people in the locker room who's been in the league for a long time, but not actively playing in the league for a long time. So when Nneka is playing amazing basketball, like, I don't know when her downfall is gonna come or if it ever comes, because she's playing amazing. Um, she's leading the team right now in scoring percentage, and those games where she did not play, they struggled a little bit, right? They lost a couple games when she wasn't playing, but it shows that they found what they were missing in that leadership presence in Nneka and in Skylar Diggins-Smith. And I think Nneka is predominantly for Easy Magnabor, for Jordan Horston, who were two very young players, but has the potential to be some of the best in the league, especially Magnabor. Like, she's good. And then Skylar Diggins-Smith is someone she's all over the place. But she found something in her year off, and she is playing amazing basketball, and his team is playing together. And when they're off, you can see Skylar and Nneka talking to each other, and then they're going and talking to the team. So they're just trying to hone them in and help them realize that the only way that we're going to succeed is together. And they're passing the ball. They're making smart choices. And Seattle, I think, is also going to be one of those teams that's up there, unless they hurt themselves. That's it. Atlanta is sitting 4-3, which Atlanta went and picked up Charles. And in my opinion, I didn't think that would change what Atlanta was doing. I didn't think it changed them as a team. And at this moment, it's the exact same thing. That's how I feel. It doesn't really change them, because to me, she's not the one who's doing what needs to be done. So I would like to see how Atlanta continues to grow. And we'll see. I mean, they're number 6 team. So, Phoenix is sitting at 4-5. Phoenix started off rough. I'm not sure what it is. I know they're not playing with Griner at the moment, but Kahleah Copper, her first few games with Phoenix, she was on one. She was on one, destroying the competition. She was dropping 30, 40 points a game. And obviously that has died down a little more. Diana Taurasi is still doing Diana Taurasi things. But I think once BG comes back into the mix and gets comfortable, I think Phoenix will still be around their same spot that they're usually always at these past few years. So I think that they'll be around like that 7th, 8th standing wise. But I'm not sure, because I haven't seen the whole team together and see how they're playing. But at the moment, that's where they are. You have two very good guards who play, but your post play got to get better. And without BG, that's kind of hard at the moment, right? The number 8 team is Chicago, who is sitting at 3-4. And now Chicago has played some very good games, right? I think their biggest win was the win up against New York. All of Chicago's games have been fought hard fought games, grinding it out. They'll have leads, they'll lose leads, which is normal for a team. Chicago is a very young team. But I think Coach Witherspoon, she's figuring things out, and she's also, like, the team and the coaches are learning together at the same time on how to make things work, right? You have Dana Evans, who's been there, right? You have Mabry, who was there last season, and Mabry is a very good player. Sometimes she can be all over the place, but when she's honed in and for the team, she's killing it. DeShields has been playing very good basketball since she's been back in the Chicago uniform. And I'm so excited to see her continue to grow. And I'm excited to see where this team goes. Kamilla Cardoso came back officially. And her first game back, she did what she needed to do to succeed. And she did great. At the moment, Angel Reese is leading the league in offensive rebounds, which I'm just like, that is the reason why I think they are staying in the close games. Even though most of her offensive rebounds is her rebounds, like that she shot and she missed, so she gets it again. But when she throws the ball out and then you have Mabry standing there and just shoots a three and makes it, that's what people have to stop, and hopefully they figure it out, right? But college tried to figure it out for 2 years and they didn't really figure it out, so hopefully I think the W got it, right? So number 8 is Dallas. And Dallas is one of those teams that they're up and down. They're up and down. They're a very good team, but sometimes they can get into their own ways and then they lose a game. So they can blow someone out one day and then get blown out the next day. They just need a lot more control over what's happening on the floor. They have 2 powerful post players that they should be playing through at all times. That way it gets Ogunbowale open even more. So, Coach Trammell, she's a good coach. I enjoyed her when she was in LA. So I think that she'll figure it out. She's doing very well with the team since she's taken over. Just Dallas got them. Sometimes they're a little wild out there and they need to be settled down and brought back into the fold, you know? The number 10 team is LA, who is 2-6. LA has showed promise to me. Showing that LA has only won 2 games is very shocking to me because of how they play, how well they play, and their drive. I would have thought that they were 6-2. They're playing amazing basketball. They're just falling apart at the end. They get there, and right before they hit the finish line, they stumble and they fall. And I think that is definitely something that Curt Miller will have to figure out, because he actually has a very good team, and they have to figure it out because 2-6 at the moment is not what LA should be, in my opinion, with the personnel that they have and how they're actually playing. Right? You have 2 rookies who are actually having very good years so far. Use them. You have Derica Hamby there who is going to be doing what she does all the time. So he has to figure it out, and I really hope he does. Sitting at number 11 is Indiana, sitting at 2-9. Which to me, I don't think this is very much a surprise for anyone who's watched. But for everyone who's new to the channel, Indiana was not the worst team in the W last year, right? But they did start off as that because of the fact that they are a young team and you had a rookie who had just started and they had to get settled, right? Towards the end of the year, Indiana got better because the rookie got more settled into the game and was more comfortable with her game. 2024, you have a rookie who is trying to get accompanied and trying to get, I don't even know, she's trying to understand this game. Even though the WNBA is still basketball, it is. But these women are bigger, they're faster, they're smarter than what you're used to in college, right? So at the moment, she's still trying to figure things out. But as the season goes on, she will get better. She will progress. And so will Indiana. So if they keep getting like these number 1, number 2 picks, they're going to stay in this cycle until they settle down and keep what they have and produce, right? Develop what you have. So at the moment, they're in a development stage, and that's what I think a lot of people are struggling with. Washington Mystics is the number 12 team, sitting at 0-8. Obviously, no Elena Delle Donne this season. She sat out, and they have a good team, I think it's the fact that their team was built around Elena Delle Donne, and without her playing, they're a little confused. And now you go and get Edwards, the rookie from Connecticut. She can't fill Elena Delle Donne's gap, right? In college, Elena Delle Donne was on a totally different world, right? She comes into the league, she's the exact same way, right? There hasn't been a player like Elena Delle Donne, and Edwards isn't that player. Will she be able to get there? Possibly. But at this moment, she's not at that level where she should be filling in that spot for Elena Delle Donne. And obviously, they have Shakira Austin, and she's going to continue to do what she does. I'm not quite sure what Washington can do. It's just the situation that they're in is unfortunate, and hopefully things get better throughout the season. Hopefully they figure things out. Like, all 12 of these teams still have something to figure out. So hopefully they figure it out and this season gets even better and better, because it has started off amazing, and I'm just excited for tomorrow when the games come back on, right? It's Monday. Obviously we don't have games, so I can give you guys a video. Keep supporting me. Keep liking the videos. Like, comment, subscribe. Share with your friends and family. Hopefully I can keep this up going now that I'm kind of settled, right? Thank you. Again, peace, love, happiness.